Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're strapping on something new. Google's recently unveiled Android XR glasses.
Mm,
Now, this isn't just, another tech trinket hitting the market.
not at all.
Think of it as Google re-entering the smart eyewear arena after, about a decade.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And from what we're seeing, they've clearly been paying attention.
Absolutely. What's immediately striking, I think, is the collaborative effort behind this.
Right.
Google's teamed up with some major players, Samsung, Qualcomm, and interestingly, even giants from the fashion eyewear world.
That blend of tech and style ambition feels, significant.
It really does.
It does, and that's precisely why we're diving in today.
Hmm.
We've gathered the key details from the underlying tech to how you might actually use these things to help you understand why Android XR could be a real step towards, the future of how we interact with our digital world.
Yeah.
Our goal today is basically to look beyond the initial buzz and extract the crucial insights about Android XR and what they might mean for you.
So let's jump straight into the big picture then. Android XR is Google's platform specifically designed for smart glasses and the broader realm of extended reality.
XR, right, so augmented reality mostly in this case.
Yeah, think of XR as that umbrella term covering AR and VR. But here we're primarily looking at augmented reality digital stuff overlaid on the real world.
Okay.
And the fundamental aim appears to be creating a device that's not only technologically advanced, but also something you genuinely want to wear as part of your daily life.
Right. It's about moving beyond just impressive specs and focusing on making the tech practical and, dare I say, stylish.
Exactly. And this is all happening while major players like Meta and Apple are also competing hard for what many believe is the next big computing platform.
Something spatial, context-aware, seamlessly integrated.
Precisely. And what's fascinating here is how Google seems to be carving out its own space right from the start.
How so?
Well, the deep integration of their Gemini AI, that's a big one. And the fact that these glasses are designed to be compatible with the Google Play Store, that suggests a potentially rich ecosystem right out of the gate.
Which is a huge draw for users and, critically, developers.
Absolutely. A big draw.
Okay, so with that broader context in mind, let's get a little more granular. Let's look under the hood. What kind of core technology are we talking about here?
Well, from what we've seen, the display tech is quite innovative. They're exploring either light field or micro OLED displays.
Light field, micro OLED. What's the key benefit there?
The crucial element is achieving stereoscopic 3D viewing, but without needing a bulky headset.
Headset-free 3D. Gotcha.
Yeah, that approach could really shift how people perceive and, adopt this type of wearable tech.
Understood. Nobody wants to feel like they're gearing up for a VR session just to glance at a notification.
Exactly.
What other hardware is packed in?
They've incorporated a pretty sophisticated camera system. We're talking front-facing cameras designed for environmental scanning, capturing images, even depth mapping.
Depth mapping. So the glasses understand the space around you.
Precisely. Imagine the augmented reality possibilities with that kind of spatial awareness, the glasses understanding and interacting with your surroundings in a very detailed way.
Okay. And how will we actually interact with them? It's hard to imagine fumbling with tiny touchscreens on the lenses.
Unlikely. No, they've included beamforming microphones.
Beamforming.
Yeah, what's clever about this is their ability to focus on your voice while filtering out background noise.
Essential for voice commands in noisy places.
Absolutely vital. And they're also integrating open-ear spatial speakers or possibly bone conduction audio.
Open ear or bone conduction, meaning you can still hear the world around you.
Exactly. It allows for a layer of digital sound without completely isolating you. Important for safety, awareness.
So you could hear directions or a message and still hear traffic, for example.
That's the idea. Seems like a very considered design choice.
It does. And what about the processing power behind all this? What's running the show?
That would be the Snapdragon XR2 Plus Gen 2 processor.
Okay.
This is a powerful chip co-developed with Qualcomm, specifically engineered for these kinds of extended reality applications.
So plenty of horsepower for AI and graphics.
It indicates a significant amount of processing capability, yes. For handling AI tasks, rendering graphics smoothly.
All that power must require energy. What's the expected battery life looking like?
Current estimates suggest around 2 to 4 hours of active use on a single charge.
2 to 4 hours active.
Okay.
And charging.
They're offering both magnetic USB-C and wireless charging options. for convenience.
Good options.
Mhm.
And in terms of staying connected, what are we looking at?
They're equipped with the latest connectivity standards, Wi-Fi 6E for fast data transfer.
Crucial for AR and downloading apps quickly.
Definitely. Bluetooth 5.4 for connecting to other devices, and ultra-wideband, or UWB.
UWB. For device proximity.
Exactly, for accurate device proximity detection. Could have interesting uses for interacting with nearby devices, maybe even security features.
Okay, we're getting a clear picture of the internal components. Lots packed in there.
There is.
But the big question for many people will be, what can you actually do with these glasses in your day-to-day life?
Precisely. The use cases. Let's start with that Gemini AI integration we mentioned.
Right. You said it was deep integration.
It really seems to be. This isn't just about simple voice commands. We're looking at a conversational assistant woven deeply into the glasses' functionality.
So it can see what you see.
Yes. It can visually recognize objects, text, even entire scenes, providing you with contextual information in real time.
Wow.
This visual AI integration isn't just a gimmick. Imagine it becoming your real-time contextual Wikipedia.
Answering questions about the world you see without typing anything.
Exactly. Imagine looking at a plant you've never seen before and instantly getting info about it.
That sounds incredibly powerful. Very useful.
And it goes further with something they're calling AI memory.
AI memory.
Yeah, the glasses can recall past interactions and even locations, allowing for a more personalized and contextually aware experience over time.
So it learns about you and your environment.
Kind of like having a digital assistant that not only helps you in the moment, but also remembers your history to provide more relevant help later.
Interesting. Okay, so beyond just understanding what you're seeing, what about communicating with others? Any features there?
That's where the live translation feature comes in. This sounds pretty amazing.
Live translation. How'd that work?
Picture this. You're talking to someone who speaks a different language, and real-time subtitles appear right in your field of vision.
Whoa. Subtitles in your glasses.
Yeah. And it's not just about understanding. The glasses will also feature near-native voice synthesis to allow you to reply in that language.
So it helps you speak back, too.
Apparently so, making cross-lingual communication feel much more fluid and natural.
That could be a massive leap forward for travel, international business.
Wow.
Huge potential.
Okay, what about more sort of routine tasks, day-to-day stuff? For navigation, they're promising heads-up turn-by-turn directions with contextual overlays.
So arrows in your vision telling you where to go.
Something like that. Imagine walking through a new city, seeing subtle visual cues guiding you without constantly glancing down at your phone.
That would be nice. And for productivity.
You'll be able to view your calendar, reminders, notifications, all with simple gestures or voice commands.
Hands-free information access.
Exactly. Allowing you to stay informed without being constantly tethered to a separate screen.
So keeping your hands free and your focus more on the real world, that aligns with the core idea of wearable computing.
It really does.
What about capturing memories or sharing experiences? Can you take pictures or video?
Yep. They've included voice-activated photo and short video capture.
Voice activated, so just say, take a picture.
Seems like it. Could be a really convenient way to quickly document something you see without being disruptive.
I can see that.
They're even beta testing live streaming with YouTube integration.
Live streaming from your glasses.
Apparently. Opens up some interesting possibilities for on-the-go content creation, sharing your perspective very immediately.
Interesting. Very interesting. So with all these capabilities, how do these glasses stack up against what else is out there? We've mentioned Meta and Apple as key players.
It's a really interesting comparison, actually. Let's look at some of the core aspects.
Okay, display first.
Sure. Regarding the display, Android XR is clearly emphasizing that headset-free stereoscopic 3D with their light field tech.
Right?
That's a key differentiator from the Meta Ray-Ban glasses, which don't have an integrated display at all.
They're more like smart audio glasses with a camera.
Exactly. And it's different from the Apple Vision Pro's fully immersive spatial display that requires, the dedicated headset.
So Google's aiming for that middle ground overlaid visuals, not full immersion.
That seems to be the goal, a subtle layer of digital information integrated into your view of reality.
Okay. What about AI integration? How does Gemini stack up?
Well, Android XR's deep implementation of Gemini, with its contextual awareness and that memory feature, it seems to be a more ambitious approach to ambient assistance compared to, say, the more command-based Meta AI in the Ray-Bans.
And compared to Apple's Siri in Vision OS.
It also appears to be aiming for a different kind of always-on multimodal assistance than what Siri currently offers within OS, which is more focused on controlling that immersive environment.
Gotcha. And how will users actually control these functionalities? Inputs.
Android XR is looking at a combination, voice, gesture, and potentially even eye tracking.
Multimodal input.
Right. Meta's Ray-Bans primarily rely on voice commands. Apple Vision Pro uses that sophisticated mix of eye tracking, hand gestures, and voice.
So Google's approach might offer more flexibility.
Could be, depending on the situation.
Design is also a huge factor for something you wear on your face. You mentioned fashion partnerships earlier.
Absolutely huge. Google's focus on partnering with established fashion brands like Gentle Monster, Warby Parker, that suggests a strong emphasis on creating a stylish, everyday eyewear aesthetic.
Trying to avoid the glass hole problem from the first time around.
We could say that. It contrasts with the more traditional sunglasses style of the Meta Ray-Bans, which are still recognizably techy.
Right.
And definitely contrasts with the noticeably bulkier headset form of the Apple Vision Pro.
So the fashion-first approach could be a significant factor in wider consumer acceptance.
I think it's critical. People need to want to wear these things.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And the intended use cases seem to vary across the three as well.
They do. Android XR seems positioned for that daily utility, the ambient AI assistance we talked about.
Okay.
The Meta glasses lean more towards social interaction, on-the-go content capture.
Right. Quick photos and calls.
While the Apple Vision Pro is heavily focused on productivity and immersive media consumption, but within a more controlled environment like your home or office.
Different niches. And, of course, the price point. That's always a major consideration.
Always. The estimated price range for the Android XR consumer model is $499 to $999.
$499 to $999. Okay,
Yeah.
How does that compare?
Well, it places it in a higher bracket than the $299 starting price of the Meta Ray-Bans,
Okay.
but significantly lower than the $3,499 starting price of the Apple Vision Pro.
Wow, yeah. Big difference there.
So it suggests Google is aiming for a more accessible entry point into advanced smart glasses, maybe for a broader range of consumers than Apple is initially targeting.
That price difference could definitely make them a more attractive option for many people. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Google's overall strategy here. Who are they trying to reach with these glasses, primarily?
Their primary target consumer markets appear to be, well, tech-forward individuals, the early adopters,
Naturally.
remote workers who could benefit from hands-free productivity tools, urban commuters needing seamless navigation.
Like the directions feature.
Exactly, and content creators looking for innovative ways to capture and share experiences.
But it's not solely focused on individual consumers, is it? I thought I saw something about business applications, too.
Correct. They're also developing enterprise versions tailored for specific sectors like logistics, healthcare, field service.
Oh, like Google Glass Enterprise Edition.
Exactly. It echoes that earlier initiative, indicating they see significant potential for these devices in various professional settings, improving efficiency, access to information, that sort of thing.
Okay. And those partnerships with fashion brands we touched on earlier, Gentle Monster, Warby Parker, that feels like a really deliberate strategic move.
It is absolutely key. Collaborating with well-known eyewear brands is crucial for making these glasses aesthetically desirable, for driving mainstream adoption.
Because if they don't look good,
People simply won't wear them. Regardless of how advanced the technology is, it's a fundamental barrier for wearables.
so the goal is for these to blend in, to become a natural part of what people wear every day.
That seems to be the ambition.
How will Google actually get these into the hands of consumers and businesses? Distribution plans.
The initial plan involves online sales and, importantly, through retail eyewear stores.
That aligns with the fashion partnerships.
It does. Makes sense. They're also planning to expand distribution through mobile carriers at a later stage.
Okay, now what about the developers, the people who will actually create the experiences, the apps for these glasses? What's Google offering them?
Right, the ecosystem. They've launched the Android XR SDK.
Okay, SDK is out. What's in it?
It provides XR-ready APIs for handling visual input, environment sensing, spatial mapping, the core AR stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Importantly, they're also providing Gemini AI API hooks.
So developers can tap into that AI power.
Exactly, allowing them to leverage that powerful multimodal input and output for their applications. Plus, they're supporting widely used languages like Kotlin, Java, C++,
Familiar territory for many devs.
and the glasses will be compatible with the Google Play Store ecosystem for XR apps.
So leveraging the existing Android infrastructure.
Right. It should make it easier for current Android developers to jump in, a relatively low barrier to entry if you're already in that world.
That makes a lot of sense strategically.
Definitely. And to further encourage development, they've released simulators and hardware emulators for early testing.
So devs can start building now, even without the final hardware.
Correct. And they're offering developer incentives access to partner hardware,
Like what?
including Project Muhan from Samsung and Xreal's Project Aura, plus early access to cloud credits and Gemini AI API tokens.
So really trying to bootstrap that developer community.
It's a comprehensive support package. It aims to foster a vibrant, innovative app ecosystem right from the beginning. Seems like a significant investment.
It really sounds like it. Okay, so the big question. When can we realistically expect to see these on the market? What's the timeline?
Okay, the timeline they've outlined begins with the SDK and developer preview, which launched back in May of 2025.
Right, that's already happened.
We anticipate seeing previews of partner hardware, like that Samsung project, in the third quarter of this year, 2025.
Q3 25 for hardware previews. And the actual consumer glasses.
The estimated consumer release for the Android XR glasses themselves is slated for late 2025 or maybe early 2026.
Late 25, early 26.
Okay. With the Enterprise Edition expected to follow shortly after, probably early 2026.
And just to reiterate, that anticipated price range for the consumer model.
The estimated range is $499 to $999.
Okay.
And there's been mention of potential modular pricing.
Modular pricing,
Yeah.
meaning different versions or add-ons.
Possibly, suggesting that maybe different features or styles might be available at different price points within that range. We'll have to see.
Okay, so taking a step back now, looking at the bigger picture, why is this launch of Android XR so significant? Why does this matter?
Well, for Google, this represents a major re-entry into the hardware space, specifically wearables, and it's strategically positioning their Gemini AI right at the core.
The AI is central.
At the core of what they envision as the future of computing, maybe, beyond the smartphone, they clearly see wearable tech as a critical next step.
And what does this mean for us, the potential users? How could it change things?
This could really signal a shift, maybe a slow one, but a shift away from our constant engagement with handheld devices
Phones.
towards a more ambient, more integrated digital experience. Imagine having relevant info, helpful assistance, available seamlessly without constantly needing to reach for your phone.
Less pulling the phone out of the pocket constantly.
That's the potential promise.
And for the broader tech landscape, the industry.
This undoubtedly ignites a new phase in the platform competition, a big one.
The spatial computing
Or
wars.
you could call it that. You have Google with Android XR, Apple with Vision Pro, Meta with their evolving range of smart glasses and VRR headsets.
It's a race.
It's definitely a race to define how we'll interact with technology in the years to come.
And for those who build the digital experiences.
The developers again. The potential is immense. We could see a surge of innovative spatial and voice-first applications across a huge range of sectors.
Like what?
Oh, healthcare, retail, language translation, education, augmented reality gaming. It's a whole new realm of possibilities for creative development, a new frontier, really.
So to summarize our deep dive into Android XR, what are the key takeaways for you, the listener, to keep in mind?
Okay, I'd say firstly, Google is making a serious, well-funded pushback into smart glasses, heavily leveraging their cutting-edge AI with Gemini. That's point one.
AI at the core. Got
Okay.
it. Secondly, those strategic alliances with major fashion brands, they underscore a really strong commitment to design and achieving mainstream appeal. They want these to look good.
Style matters.
And finally, their dedication to building that comprehensive developer ecosystem indicates a long-term vision for this platform. They're not just throwing hardware out there, they're building the foundation for apps.
Right. It truly feels like these aren't just another gadget. They represent a potential evolution towards a more intuitive, more integrated digital life. Yeah.
Where information and assistance are subtly woven into our perception of reality, rather than being confined to a separate screen we have to pull out and look at.
Well put. Which brings us to a final thought for you to consider. Could devices like Android XR fundamentally reshape how we interact with information in the world around us? Could they really move us beyond the screen as we know it?
Or maybe think about it this way. With advanced AI becoming such an integral part of our everyday eyewear, what are the really exciting new possibilities that await us? And maybe, what are the potential considerations we need to think about too?
Good questions. A lot to mull over.
Definitely a lot to consider. If any aspect of this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, we absolutely encourage you to explore it further. The landscape of wearable computing is changing fast,
Very fast.
and Android XR appears set to play a pretty significant role in shaping its future. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.